With the introduction of cash rewards as service token by Rewards Africa over the 5 years, it's important to review the groundbreaking impact of the service to businesses and consumers in the Nigerian market. Chief Lai Labode, founder and chief executive officer of Cash Token Rewards Africa Limited, a Nigerian reward tech company, has created a platform that has revolutionized customer loyalty and customer reward through a unique system that presents a win-win situation for manufacturers and service providers on one side and customers on the other side, respectively using technology.
Nigeria has become the first country in Africa, and perhaps in the world, that established a national reward for its residents and citizens. It means that as long as you can patronize Nigerian businesses, including lotteries, by the way, you will be rewarded with what is called a Naija token. It is the first time anywhere that a country actually does that. And what we also expect from all businesses is that you set business thresholds before you offer the national reward to your customers. NNPCR is also vigorously working to ensure that every time you spend that money to reward your customers when they perform, that it becomes an allowable expense against your taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we look forward to partnering with you. We look forward to partnering with all businesses in Nigeria. Don't forget, it is the first time where you have this kind of relationship, where all businesses, all peoples are partnered with the government on a single reward program. God bless the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. God bless Cash Token Rewards Africa. God bless all your businesses. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So joining now is Chief Dr. Lai Labode, CEO Cash Token Rewards Africa. Great to have you. What do you mean by when you say, socially smart business model and it's like pioneering the revolutionary cash token reward system in Africa?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me once again here.
Merry Christmas, I should say.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Interesting outfit, I must say that. I wish people could see you walk regally into the studio.
I'm an Egba man. I'm very proud of it.
Oh, great.
This is actually about Shodeke. Okay. The Egba man who welcomed every 1,000 into Egba land those days. It's an infusion of the West and Egba land. So this is a new dashiki that I'm wearing.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So back to it. When we say socially smart, we mean the marriage of successful enterprises and social development. So imagine a time where every time somebody makes a purchase in a country, that they are rewarded with what is called a national reward. I mean, that's amazing. Now, the partnership between us and the federal government through NLRC, and I'm sure you know Mr. Bajabe Amila, the DG of the National Lottery Commission, we work closely together to create, for the first time in Africa or anywhere in the world, where a country has a national reward. Now, there are several objectives for this. So the first is, how do we boost the Nigerian economy from the inside? 2, how do we do what is called wealth redistribution? How do we create new jobs? And how do we build a new relationship, a new tripartite relationship between the government, the people, and businesses? Now, what we have done essentially is that we have created a platform that allows every patronage made in Nigeria to be rewarded. Now, that reward, what does that really mean? You must have met a purchase threshold. That means it's not charity. Imagine a time where we can actually distribute between 2 and 5 trillion naira to Nigerians without borrowing. We've talked about the 1.2 trillion naira that the federal government is doing, which is very great for many families. But imagine a new program that allows us to push 2 to 5 trillion to Nigerians. And these Nigerians must have patronized Nigerian businesses. So you cannot get a national reward in Nigeria cash token without patronizing a Nigerian business. Now, when you do that, the businesses become more prosperous. That means the businesses can actually pay more taxes to government. That's number 1. Number 2, Nigerians who are getting these monies, first of all, they're getting out of shame. These are very tough times, and we all know that. We know what has happened in the last few years that this administration is trying to fix. Now, Nigerians are able to purchase, win monies every week. Every week, we do a national consumer draw for 5,000 to 100 million naira. So when people see us sharing money weekly, they'll say, oh, where's this money coming from? It's actually monies from businesses who are patronizing us, buying the national reward tokens, called the cash token, really, to reward performing customers. So if you're an MTN customer, for example, and by the way, MTN is one of our partners, brilliant partner, and they're really smart. They make sure that you have actually met the business objective and they reward you. Now, when they buy that, that's the money that will pull every Friday. So when Nigerians are becoming millionaires every week, it's not from lottery. It's that they have patronized businesses, they have been rewarded, we have pulled a lot of money together and we spread it around. So imagine where a national reward that we're working on right now, where all businesses in Nigeria, every single thing you buy, you get that reward. And that is what is revolutionary. And that's why we say it is socially smart. It's not dependent on charity. You must have patronized a Nigerian business to have gotten it.
Right, socially smart.
Yes.
So can you share insights on the National Reward Program and the goal of, just looking at the goal of partnering with the federal government at this time?
Okay, so first of all, the federal government wants to boost the economy in a million ways. And of course, entrepreneurs are the true heroes of the economy. So what they have done is to have studied what we have done in the last 5 years, paid out almost 20 billion to Nigerians who have performed, who have patronized Nigerian businesses. And we decided to create that into a national program. Now, what that essentially means is that the government, aside from helping businesses grow, that means they're basically offering something to businesses that as long as you're able to reward customers who have performed, it means that you can make more money. Now, we're also doing wealth redistribution because the money that we're sharing every Friday is because people have made patronages and we've pulled money together. That's the money they're using to start new businesses and the likes. Now, federal government also wishes to expand the tax net. So imagine a time where all purchases have been rewarded. That means many more people are actually in the net. We're able to tax all of these monies. So somebody has won 20 million or 130 million, he has to pay some tax to government. There's also VAT, there's also WHT. So it's a really, really smart model that allows the government to even make more money for itself. So there's new revenue generation, there's expansion of the tax net, there's public emotional equity. Of course, you love governments that are actually able to share money sustainably, not just a week. Nigeria, if you do a good road now, Nigerians love it for the moment, and tomorrow they are abusing you again. So imagine where the government is creating something that allows money to be shared consistently based on patronages. It is genius, really, and this is sustainable. And this is the relationship, when we say a new tripod relationship between government, businesses, and the people. This is what we mean by the national reward.
So how exactly does this, public-private partnership or national rewards impact the everyday Nigerian, considering the current state of economy?
I'll say this. This is the biggest deal. And we're so excited that Mr. Lai Labode, he really, really took time to study how we're going to make this work. So it was really about sustainability. So imagine what you've done today. You left your house, you bought petrol, right? You bought airtime from one of the mobile networks. You bought some food, all those things that you've done. Imagine that you're actually helping businesses grow, really. You're patronizing those businesses. And they have rewarded you. Every Nigerian must buy. Whether you're rich or poor, you must end up buying something. Imagine at that point of purchase, the federal government working with the private sector is rewarding that patronage. And on Friday night, let me break it down like this. Every time you get a national reward, every time, something happens. The first thing that happens is that you get instant cash in your national reward wallet. Every Nigerian will now carry one reward wallet for all businesses. It is unprecedented. 2, you will instantly get a ticket into the national consumer draw. You don't need to be a gambler to do that. As long as you can buy Nigerian, you will be in that draw. And on Friday night, we call it Lai Labode Friday. The other time, Dr. Abati was laughing about that, Wale Thompson and the likes. Every Friday, we'll do that draw. And Nigerians across the country, and let me also give you some information. It's amazing, almost 20 billion that were paid out. Most of our winners, they are mekunos. And it's amazing, you go to Shagamu
Break that down, we have an international audience.
I was going to say that.
Mekunos are simply ordinary people, right? Ordinary people who are struggling every day, trying to make a living. So imagine somebody in Shagamu market, a particular woman who won 10 million naira. Wow. 10 million naira. The entire market went completely crazy. But what did she do? Also followed up, what did she do with the money? She expanded the market. She paid her children's school fees. She started some health things. So there's quite a bit of that that's going around. So the federal government partnership with the private sector is actually very, very smart. And if you look around the world today, you can check it, and I know Arise loves to check things. You are not going to find any country in the world that has established a national reward for its residents and citizens and visitors. And that's what we've done. So the impact will be very, very huge, much bigger than anything you've actually seen from the government. Wow. So let us comment. Sorry, let me just say this. let us commend the NLRC. And I can tell you the biggest thing they're actually doing. We're also working closely with FIRS, Ministry of Finance today, and of course the presidency, to see that even when a business spends that money buying the national rewards to give their customers, it should become an allowable expense. Meaning that you can take it from your taxes, because the impact is huge for the economy. You know, more people have come into the tax net, businesses are growing, Nigerians are getting rewarded, making money, creating jobs. It's an amazing one, and I would think that 2024 will be truly great for Nigeria from this administration.
I love the optimism. I'm sure this is great hope for people at home.
Absolutely.
Especially at this time, you know, in the country and of course the season we're in. So as a pro-Nigerian and a seasoned business professional, what would your advice be to the government on policy formations for, you know, the positioning of National Reward Program to ensure sustainability? Because you've mentioned sustainability a lot of times, and of course that's the word of the season as well.
Absolutely.
Sustainability, sustainability. So how would you ensure that this is done?
Okay, so first of all, I'm quite excited by the kind of energy that we have received from the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. It's amazing. You know, Mr. Gbajabiamila takes time. You know, and it's amazing. It's not just sending a team to actually study what we've done in the last 5 years to ensure that we have a program that is truly sustainable. So first of all, we have that kind of relationship with the government already. Two, when it comes to policy, it's important to always look at what the private sector have done. The private sector, I keep saying it, the true heroes of the economy are entrepreneurs. You know, it takes a lot to actually get a business off the ground and be able to sustain it. So working always with the private sector, you find out that a lot of things can happen. There's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of innovation in the private sector, and of course the power of the federal government and creating policies that align those things for the benefit of Nigerians. You can be sure that we can get out of a lot of trouble that we're actually in. You know, you can see poverty has risen a whole lot, there's more crime and the likes. How do we bring it down? You know, if you study the number of people that have won our rewards the last 5 years, and we're following their lives very vigorously, the impact is huge on families. And that's why working with the federal government now is to expand it to every single business. And that's why a national reward is the biggest thing that will be happening in Nigeria for next year, aside from anything else that can touch every Nigerian. So basically, each business becomes an agent of government in giving back to the people. And of course, those people are the ones that are keeping those businesses actually afloat. So it's a beautiful one that is a win-win for all parties.
So, you know, given the structure of the nation, what will be the role of states, you know, in implementing a national reward policy?
You know, one of the beautiful things about this, you know, and Mr. Gbajabiamila, once again, very conscious of the implementation of this.
Mr. Gbajabiamila is the head of the lottery,
DG of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. You know, it is that every state will be able to benefit from this. So in the structure of the cost of one Nigeria token, there's a piece of that pie that will go to state governments. Apart from the fact that all their citizens are actually enjoying the benefit of it, and they can take credit for it. We have heard about governments, some very smart governments, who would like to domesticate it. But then it's a real goodie from the federal government in partnership with the private sector. So every state will benefit, aside from their citizens, in terms of revenue, hard revenue, they can also use for socially inclusive programs in these states.
All right. So what does the future hold for national rewards in Nigeria, and how is cash token rewards Africa prepared for the journey ahead, given that you're off-course implementation partners?
Okay, so the future is truly beautiful, and I'll say it in a very practical and brutal way. The only way forward for Nigeria,
Brutal practicality.
absolutely, is that we must find a way to look inwards to boost the economy. We must get to produce. And when monies get into the hands of small business people, and those are the people that really make up the economy, really, when they have more money to actually do business, much more can actually happen. So the future is bright. A time where you have a program that can potentially do 2 to 5 trillion naira directly back to the people, sustainably, that is a big deal. And that is unprecedented. So the future is really bright.
Well, thank you so very much, Chief Dr. Lai Labode, for your time with us this morning. Indeed, as you've said, and I'm so glad we end on a very positive note, the future is bright, and hopefully everyone would be rewarded in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much.